Welcome back, friends. All on the line for our final matchup, TALON versus Cyclops. This game is not just about these two teams, but about two others, probably actually three other teams that are fighting for their chance at making it to Berlin. Damwon Gaming Sandbox and Reject are watching this game with malicious intent, I want to say here, because a loss for Cyclops will mean a great day for all three other teams, but a win, especially with all 3 points for Cyclops, means that they will be still in the running. It could upset our top two. So, welcome to the Analyst Desk. We're going to talk about all that and more. I'm Milosh. This is Hap and Fabian. And Hap, I want to ask you then, what is the case today for Cyclops?
See, this is the one point where, this was my thing when I was on the desk. So I'm going to bring it back now.
Bring it back.
What does everybody need to qualify? If Cyclops gets 0 points, we have Damwon Kia confirmed. They still have an opportunity if they get any of the points to see if they can fight for it. And between this game, whoever loses is going to be out of that running if it is within a regulation. So if it's going to be a full 3-point loss, you're going to be out. That goes for TALON, that goes for Cyclops.
Are TALON out already, Hap? Sorry for interrupting you.
No, they're not, because they could be going to 8.
Yeah, but
they are not
have
out.
5 points so far, 3 games.
Yeah, but they could get 3 today and then get 6 points.
They
after.
play Sandbox. They play Sandbox next week, which means that it could literally be a head-to-head deciding factor.
Yep.
You're a way smarter man than I ever am.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, Glasses man. What about?
I'll take them off, so maybe I.
What about TALON?
Well, TALON. So basically, when I look at TALON, they've been having a rough season, a little bit, a rough stage. And it's kind of surprising, I think, and it surprises probably everyone in the studio, because they had a good team last stage that was very solid, and they got to playoffs. And then I did say it in the transfer window, it felt like a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction where they replaced 2 of their players just to bring on players that were, well, they were playing in worse teams in the Korean National League. So it was a bit of a surprise, and I don't think it's paid off as well as they would have hoped for, but it kind of paid off in the way that I expected it to. Because you had a really good stage. Why would you make any changes? Well, maybe because they didn't qualify. So we'll see how they do today. This game could honestly go either way. Had they kept for last stage, I think I would have voted for TALON. But it's a 50-50 toss-up here.
What's Cyclops' big strength for this one, Hap?
I mean, overall, I think they are a team that has been on the top of APAC for a very long time. They have the experience. They know what it's like to perform under pressure.
Yeah, they've been in the top 4 forever.
Yeah, but at the same time, these guys will bring funky strats. Let's put it like that.
I wouldn't call it that. Wait, strats?
That might be a big word for it, but they bring stuff that you normally do not see in a game of competitive Siege almost every single game, and it works out somehow. For some reason, no one punishes them for it. I mean, they could literally drop the diffuser in spawn and still win the round. That is last year. I'm looking at that specific round.
That is exactly what they did.
They dropped in spawn, they just rushed in and kill everybody. Fabian, I don't know if you've seen that round.
I have not, and I'm happy I
It was insane.
Yeah, so this is what Cyclops can do, and they have done even in this stage, even with the limited, amount of success that they've had. But now then, which map will we be playing on? You see that we're just waiting the giggles of what Cyclops will do once they actually head into game. And it's Cyclops that decide on our map. They'll remove Bank and take us to Clubhouse. And with that, TALON decide to start on defense. Clubhouse, this is the Dust 2 of Rainbow Six. You need to know how to play it.
CAG always likes it, and I just think that having all that individual talent that they have in CAG, it's just like we know their inconsistencies because of lack of strats, and it seems to be very much on the fly and individual based. So it's like with CAG, you can say, yeah, it looks great for CAG, and then they lose 7-1. So you have no idea with CAG. I think that Damwon Kia is going to win this game.
Well, that means that TALON will win.
It doesn't matter. Anyway, any team could win this game. Spear Gaming will win this game.
It's going to be a very tough one if they win this game. But I don't know. I have the trust in Cyclops, but at the same time, I think TALON might be able to go for an upset here.
All right, let's see how it goes. Will it be Cyclops to pull out the funky strats and take it away, or will it be TALON to stop them dead in their tracks and actually overcome them to try to make it to Berlin? Thank you, Fabian and Hap. Let's toss it to our casters. That's nice. Enjoy.
Thank you very much, Milosh. Welcome back for the last game of the day. Clubhouse, a fun one to step into. The boys reference Cyclops. Talon, also no slouches, have played this once per stage so far, Tim. Beat Fav, I think it was Fav, last month on 8-6 in the middle of June, so a little bit of recency to go off there as well. Much of you at home still siding with Cyclops. Which way did you go for this one, Tim?
I went for, I want to say Cyclops.
I'm going to check, because I went for Talon, and I'd love this to be a game that has us against each other.
Have a little look. I feel like I might have gone for Cyclops. Yes, I did. It was one where I went...
It's hard, this one.
I went for Cyclops, then I went for Talon, and then I thought, no, Talon weren't very good last week, so I went back to Cyclops.
Yeah.
I think Clubhouse is going to be a good map to see these two face off against each other. You know, let's just have the best team winning effectively, which is what you tend to get on Clubhouse. We're going to have the first ban come in. Hibana, not too much of a surprise there, looking to keep those hatchers safe. Do we double down and go for another hard breach? No, we do not. It's going to be Thatcher.
Perfectly sensible. Nothing too shocking about either of those bans, I think. Hibana, sometimes you'll see something like an ace get taken away instead. Argy does a little bit more. One of those Salmas opening up to Hibana with, well, height level holes, I guess, and what you normally use 12 Excaliburs to achieve. So this one here more engineered towards things like hatches. Maybe leans and suggests that Talon wants to be playing with a lot of reinforced hatches, potentially looking towards electrification. So naturally with the Thatcher and the Hibana banned away, the Kaid is also going to follow, and then Mira comes in as the final go-to ban. So often seen on this map, none of those really all that surprising, Tim.
No, pretty much as we would have expected. We could have made a good guess at the beginning of things. We're going to head into our first round down in Church and Arsenal. Talon will kick us off on the defence. Now then, Buck is stopping us seeing whether we've got a full Skinergy there, Des. Buck's rifle just sits right in front of the position that card would be. I'm going to say that we did. All aligning.
Benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. All aligning and supporting the teams there. And... ooh, Suzushi looking at bringing along a fuse, talking about those interesting players that we often get at Cyclops.
I'm always in for some exciting matchups. Now, worth noting, the last time these two teams went head-to-head was here in APAC North as well, back in Stage 1. It was on this very map, Tim. It was 8-6 to Cyclops, so it was a close game back then. Obviously, a lot has changed. You've got Azami in play now. Talon have made their roster changes, so you can hang your hat maybe on that last fixture, but I'd also be keen not to try and lean too much into history to suggest how this is going to go. But I'd very happily take another overtime, Tim, to round the day out. How things are going then to start things off? We have got a couple of members of Talon looking to get out on the roam here and cause some trouble around the map, as you would come to expect. At this point, it was just the Azami on the upstairs, but I'm sure we'll be joined by one or two more as the round goes by. These days, it's quite rare unless you see something like a Vigil to see an individual roamer. At the very least, we'll be backed up by a Jaeger or something like that. And Gadarada's in very, very quickly and immediately traces that Azami back down to sight.
That's it. Soldier is going to head back down. That's all five pretty much downstairs now. Soldier just holding on that sort of mezzanine level of the staircase for the time being, but I think it's more of a threat than anything else. I can't see him looking to get too aggressive up those stairs unless a very clear opportunity presents itself. Now then, Suzushi showing us a great use of the fuse charges there. Going to send one in that's intended to force Soldier away, but doesn't. Not well timed enough. There you go. You see it. Timing was off. That is the problem. Soldier should have been forced away sooner. You don't waste your hard breach on the hatch. I'm not sure why it wasn't triggered prior to making that attempt. It doesn't matter. The job is done. They've got it open, and they've got more utility. Alligator has been lost along the way, though. That's going to be the book gone, and that gives Talon a little advantage.
It does, yeah. It's a good starting point. The nice thing is they've got a little bit of security here, a bit of insurance coming in, and that they have two of these vertical breachers in the sledge and the buck together. And arguably, you've held on to the better of the two at this point as well. A lot of teams relying on just bringing along a sledge. Those frag grenades, very, very helpful. Can still smash the entirety of the hallway to pieces. The buck just helpful to do so at range. Normally around kitchen, for example, you can jump up on little like ledges or side like whatever you want to call them. What are they called? Side places in a kitchen where you prepare food. Counters, that's the one, Tim. Thank you.
That's why you bring them.
That is. Thank you very much, Mr. Dictionary.
So I can translate what's going on in your mind.
You can, mate. After all this time, I don't so. But up on the counters, and the buck can then quite safely do things. But here we come. A nice little push down blue, and Gadarada walks into a first kill onto Heady. That makes it 1-for-1 in the round.
Going to just continue hammering bullets down there, Black Ray.
Ah, yes. Everyone's favourite, the LMG. Yay.
No, there's no problem with the LMG, Des.
All right, sure.
So provides a bit of covering fire down into blue, keeps the man...
Covering fire, yeah. Okay.
Keeps the man locked in place. Well,
Suppressive fire, yeah. Not all lethal, no.
Gatterard just manages to escape. 4v4 as we have Talon continuing to hold on. We're going to find one of these classic bloodbaths coming in Church and Arsenal. Blackray does manage to find Demic, but the push in is slowed down as Misa finds him in return.
Honestly.
And this just goes back and forward. I did call it. It's going to be a bloodbath. Last 15 seconds we come down to. Who can get on top of these kills? Right now it's 2v2. Anaton is able to drop, makes the challenge towards Soldier, but Soldier just keeping himself safe for the time being in behind that cabinet. There's a kill from Marble. It's all up to Anaton now. 1v2. He switches to the pistol. 3 seconds.
So
There's
patient.
very little chance of him winning this one out. The clock goes down and Talon play it smart. Lock it out on the clock, and they're going to call that round 1 theirs.
Yeah, really well played as well. Not to get aggressive there, trying to peek onto him. What reason would there possibly be? Just hold another, let him push into you, and just let that clock hit 0. Absolutely 0 complaints. Blue turned into a little bit of a meat grinder in that round, though, Tim. And there was a limited number of drones actually going through to feed information, which is why I think it felt so chaotic back and forth. You'd have Cyclops step in, get a kill. Talon would get a trade. Cyclops would send someone else in there, not checking an angle, get killed from there. Then they get a kill back on the other side. And it was just so chaotic and back and forth there. You'd argue you want to see a little bit more composure from the attackers when it comes to approaching what normally is a really big bottleneck on this map. But Talon get the first round, and onwards we go.
CCTV and Cash will be our next defence for Talon, setting up likely to hold on to Catwalk. They're going to be playing somebody out there. They've got the keeper barricade just blocking off the line of sight that goes through into sight as well. Smart placement there, just makes it more difficult to challenge from the stairs, for example, on that long angle, and also gives a little bit of protection for anybody playing up there on the rafters, of which I'm sure there will be somebody. We've got East Breach reinforced. No denial on there at the minute. There's no mute jammer been placed on the wall. They may well choose to just give that one up. It can sometimes be a little bit of a waste. It's difficult to hold on to. It won't generally take teams more than 30 seconds to a minute to get it cleared out anyway, so sometimes your utility can be better spent elsewhere.
I think what's an interesting thing to note about Talon as well here is it looks to be making a couple of changes in terms of who's playing what role. So for those who have been following along, Marble and Misa are 2 new pickups from Tier 3 in Korea. People were curious as why they wouldn't pick up players from Team GP, who are the top team in the Korean Open, for example, but apparently they all want to stay together as a team. So they had to go one lower and get Marble and Misa, and there were question marks about how well they'd do. And in the first couple of days, they looked great. Marble was dropping double-digit kills, playing off on Jaeger, getting around on the roam. The last couple of games, though, he's been not playing so well. So what they've done is actually put Hedy, who's normally their go-to smoke player, on the Jaeger instead, put Marble playing on the mute, and put Misa onto Hedy's old role playing on the smoke. So the 2 new players both playing those SAS shotgun operators, playing a much more supportive position, whilst the other 3 players get jiggy around the map.
Anaton going to spot out Marble inside of Lounge there. He's got Hedy with him as well, but there could be an immediate challenge coming in here as Blackray has got himself established inside of stock. He's going to take this peak and he's going to win it. That was clever play from Cyclops there, just sending the drone in as bait. Marble goes to take it down and Blackray is ready. He had absolutely no idea that the Finker was positioned inside of stock. Blackray might get another opportunity here if this continues. A little peek coming from Hedy in the bottom of garage there, but it's going to be the vertical nade that could be the immediate problem. Knows roughly where Soldier is, but can't find him with that explosive.
I think he went slightly the wrong way there as well. Went in towards Lounge instead of actually aiming towards getting Cash, so didn't find his man even though there was a ping there giving a bit of an assist. Hedy dancing around though inside a garage, gets taken down by Blackray. He's had a wonderful round so far. 2 kills to his name, and now Demic is the new challenger that wants to step up. I just feel here like Talon are committing defenders into an aggressive position where maybe they don't need to. I understand you're a bit nervous about potential nades coming in from below, but by the same token, don't just send one man after the other into a timely death.
Demic going to take a ton of damage there as well, puts him down to about 40 HP. If anything, Cyclops have got an overflow of HP right now with the Finker boost doing its job. Gatterada finds Soldier. Nitro goes out, does not connect with anybody. Misa manages to get Blackray 4v2, 4v1 as Misa gets down. It's all up to Demic on Catwalk. It's a power position. It's somewhere you can hold on from, but as soon as they know that that is exactly where he is, he's going to find himself getting challenged. Misa will be finished off, and here come the bullets. They know he's there. They get the kill. It's a trade, but it doesn't matter as Cyclops take round 2.
He had a chance to get the plant in there as well. Much better coming out of Cyclops. A lot of that really driven by Blackray and the work he was doing in stock below. The freebie into Lounge, the second into Garage. And again, I had to ask that question about Talon, like, why are you still trying to throw men to retake Lounge? At that point, it's lost. You barely have control of top red because you've lost Marble, who was looking to play back up there a little bit further as the round went by. Just concede it at that point. If you feel you've got to get out of cash, go and play inside a site. You can rely on Catwalk a little bit. You've got Construction you can play through. Potentially, they were worried about that being completely isolated then, though, right? Your player on Catwalk is going to be completely cut off from the rest of the team. I understand that. But I think one where once they've lost Marble, things really started to fall apart. And as I was talking about the player himself and saying, okay, playing a more supportive role here, not really getting out on playing Jaeger like he's done for the last few weeks, I think in that round you sort of saw why. He got himself into a gunfight and just had no chance of winning against Blackray.
Gym and Bedroom then will be our next defensive site as Talon decide that they need to move on, and I think it's probably a good idea because it wasn't even really kind of close back on CCTV and Cash. To be fair, Gym and Bedroom has become in recent times a more popular site in many ways than CCTV and Cash. As we saw the defender win rate plummet on CCTV and Cash, they've generally chosen to move away from it. Talon at the minute still setting up the extension out in that direction, so they will try to hold on. That placement of the shield is interesting, right on the rotate there. It's usually played a little bit further forward. It's going to give a little bit more time. The ADS obviously going to pick up any explosives that come past it, but allows it, I suppose, to be played a little bit more with the stairs in mind as well, whereas when it's played further forward, you are completely exposed to a challenge from the stairs.
Normally you see it hugging against the sort of railing that runs around the stairs as well, so you can play up like lower stairs and come up and look over the top. The thing is here, you're not looking to deny lower stairs or really deny the breach itself. You're more looking to give yourself the safe ability to be able to get through the rotate and challenge onto the breach if required. You're less bothered about what's going on downstairs. At that point, you've obviously got to be very wary about getting pushed, but I think that's what they're trying to go for with the shield placement. I get it into the opening onto Misa, and he's straight in. Anderson's charging his way through. They know there's one behind the soft wall here, but not quite ready to spring forwards. Two more kills come through, and CAG have just caught Talon completely off guard, left a couple of players off site, and have now got full control with all 5 left alive. A very comfortable, flawless round.
This is what I was concerned about for Talon when I predicted Cyclops, was that they were just going to get caught out a little bit. They didn't look to have as much focus as we always expect from them last week, and it seems to be continuing here. Cyclops just getting more and more aggressive as this goes in, and the problem for Talon is that Cyclops are a team that feeds on that, and as soon as they start finding those kills, as soon as those aggressive players work out, they're going to keep bringing them. They're going to keep pushing forward. You're not going to get a minute to breathe, so Talon maybe need to think carefully. I'm not saying just yet, but about the use of the tactical timeout. If another round or two goes to Cyclops, they're going to have to do something to break the momentum, because Cyclops are a team that will ride on that.
And they will just keep on going, absolutely. In this round, looking to employ, by the looks of it, the Monty from Aniton that I fully expect will go marching down dirt, come up to the doorway. A lot of pressure coming down through blue once again. This time round, though, supported by the pressure and the information coming out from the Monty. So it should be a much cleaner round if they go for the same style of play. That Fuse makes a return as well on the defensive side. Really not too many changes coming in here. You've seen that Warden added in place of, I want to say it was the Mute, in place of the Mute, yes.
Will the change be sufficient? I mean, you know, they're looking to basically hold on to this one again. It was a bloodbath last time around, so they really do need to hold Cyclops at bay a little bit more this time. You know, you can't have it coming down to that 2v2 gunfight with 20 seconds left to go. The defenders want to be more in charge than that, but I'm going to see Soldier playing onto those main stairs once again. Not too much of a presence out in the map for Talon. Cyclops probably going to move quite quickly because they weren't really challenged last time around, so they're going to be confident that they're able to take that map control.
So here we go on the step forward here. In case you're curious as to why things are being sprayed out, 1, it opens up barricades, 2, it opens up spots in the wall, 3, in case someone is running past them, it's a freebie. I still think back to the time that I saw a blind spray through the single construction wall from construction site spawn that somehow went through and killed a clash that was stood on bedroom door. And I was like, that is the most ludicrous angle, and just pretty far without knowing anyone's there, that's netted a kill that I think I've ever seen. So it's always worth just spraying, just in case you find someone on the other side.
Blackray just clearing out the blue stairs utility there. We saw him in that position last time around, spraying bullets down. Aniton bringing along the Monty as well. We'll see exactly what is made of that. Push continues through bar and in towards kitchen, wanting to take control, but there's nobody really there to challenge him at the minute. This could be a dirt push, it could be a kitchen drop, but they got caught out with that last time. Des Soldier got the opening kill from the same position, and you can't allow that to happen twice.
No, I mean, you should know really someone's going to be playing down there, right? You haven't yet used the gadget because the gadget is what you're relying on. Oh, bit of miscommunication there coming out from TALON as well as they double impact up there to deny away the breach. The nice side of things is, I guess they were less worried about that, given you've killed the Fuse. You know there's no more of his on side. Anaton's now used both of his, so Hatch is staying closed no matter which way you look at it. They haven't got bar Hatch, they've only got blue Hatch to go through. So Cyclops here, by being a little bit overconfident, arguably, by relying on the 4 hard breach gadgets, have now found themselves bit in the backside.
They have, and they're going to have to think about an alternative way of pushing. We can see Anaton's moved away more towards that motor hatch than anything, so looks like the push into kitchen. He's actually going to drop blue and just look to bully them.
Oh,
and that's exactly what starts happening. He's got Black Ray in support, but Black Ray needs to start finding some kills here, because otherwise Anaton is going to be in big trouble. At the minute, he's using every ounce of ability as a shield player that he's got. One nade goes in,
down goes
Misa. That is a good start from Black Ray, who's actually rotated to play up on the hatch, but Anaton's days were numbered. We knew that. There wasn't enough of a challenge to support him. Misa might even get collected here. Black Ray does manage to find that final kill. Heady taking damage from his own team's Toxic Babe canister there, but this battle over blue continues.
It's always a meat grinder, like I said last round, Tim. It just feels like there's a massive war that takes place where no one walks out comfortably. Here we go, one more going down. Marble finds that kill. Not even looking the right way, Soldier, as Gatorada charges through. They had no idea he was there. Brings it down to a 2 versus 2, a 2v1 for TALON. I get it down to a slither of HP, and they've done just enough to hold on. Marble with a big 2k at the end, and TALON equalise things at 2-2.
Another close round there, but TALON felt a little bit more in control than last time around. There just wasn't enough coordination for Cyclops. After that kitchen hatch didn't get opened, you could see that it was sort of panic stations a little bit, just scrambling to the alternative plan, which was to send the shield into blue. But then there was just no support for Anaton. That was the big problem there. It was, you had Black Ray rotate above and try to use the hatch, but Anaton just found himself cornered. There was somebody coming in from oil pit, and again, just not enough support, not enough ability to get in there. If they get in there and get the kills on the 2 players, Smoking Jaeger, who were battling with the Montagne in behind the blue generator, then, yeah, the round probably looks a lot different, but Cyclops just not prepared for that.
Absolutely not. So, back up to June bedroom we go, same as we saw in round 3. This was a very quick crush coming out from Cyclops last time round. If you'll recall, we had the Blitz come charging through, and TALON just had no idea what was going to hit them. And Cyclops, as aggressive as they might be, have opted to say, you know what? Play it sensibly. Let's bring along a more normal comp here. We've got 3 hard breaches on side. The Sledge and the Finker ever present as always in their lineup too. So I fully expect you'll see here a full east side clear into then looking for a site execute through Jacuzzi.
Last time around, Cyclops were able to cut through this pretty easily. They were able to get in, get the kills, get the job done. They didn't even need to think about getting towards putting the diffuser down realistically. And I'm sure they're going to be looking for more of the same. We've got Suzushi bringing along the Thermite. That's going to open up that East breach immediately. This time, TALON, they need these players on the cash side, top of red stairs. They need them holding on. They need to be burning much more time. Heady, much better start. Going to get the opening kill onto Gatorada there. That's the Sledge taken down, and importantly, 2 out of those 6 nades gone along with him.
It's a big one. I mean, it's not quite the same as losing hard breach, as we saw in the last round being the big issue for them. So, whilst you would much rather have them, it's not quite the end of the world. Misa here trying to challenge on towards the side. They've got a flank coming in from the other. Well and truly trapped here, and has got to hold on for dear life. Nades over the top. ADS burnt out, literally playing his life here at close range, waiting for just one player to step in through the breach. And here we go. Drone comes out. They know that he's close now as well. They could just go for the swing, but Misa's pre-firing, gets one, almost finds the second, but finally gets traded out.
In a flurry of kills, we see ourselves now down to a 3v2. 2v2 as Black Ray manages to level it up with a kill onto Heady. Cyclops have got plenty of time here. That is the one thing that they do have in abundance. They've got 1 minute 40 left to go. Drones, so it's about just taking a breath now. Let things slow down. You've had that mid-round action. Go and find where the remaining players are. Both inside of logistics at the minute for the defenders, so this might just offer Cyclops a little bit of an opportunity to push them from 2 sides at once.
Bit of mid-round healing as well to get Irrigator juiced up here. Can afford to use one more before they even think about their execute, to be fair, and save the last one for when they do actually go for a push in and try and take gunfights. There it is. Now we get into that 75-second mark when they've done a bit of droning as well. They've got a bit of information, and are now thinking about what that next play is going to be. Black Ray is still watching this hatch mark. I don't know if he's like expecting someone to drop through it or rotate underneath or something, but he spent a lot of time down there.
I don't know whether he's hopeful of maybe being able to get a nade working or so. You know, there just seems to be a lack of information as to exactly what's going on site at the minute. We're going to open up that construction window, but Alligator needs to be careful wherever he goes here. Doesn't want to get himself caught up in a frost mat. That would be dangerous. It's been cleared out, of course, but there will be others lurking. Marble just holding an angle, but Alligator manages to beat him on it, and that is now definitely advantage Cyclops. 30 seconds left to go, and Demic trying to hold on. He's taken up exactly the same position as we've just seen the man absolutely removed from as Marble was taken down. Alligator, however, does have diffuser in hand and is going to have to cross this line of sight.
I feel this is where Demic wants to make a move or make a play, and Alligator steps in single-handedly there, really winning out that 2 versus 2 as Blackray using Narnia on the downstairs. Tim Moore providing a bit of support with the juice, I think, rather than getting involved. But it just goes to show one man can do it all.
Certainly could, and as you said, Blackray, interesting. You know, not on the drones, not really. I think he was just hoping that somebody would move around that hatch inside a gym, not really think about what was beneath them, and it'd be a free and easy pickup for him. But ultimately, he had to rely on Alligator to get the job done. So final defence coming up for TALON now, and it's a bit of a rock and a hard place, Des. Where do you go? The site that you've lost in gym or the site that you've lost in CCTV? They choose the other. They've only lost this once rather than twice, so I guess that's something, but they've only tried it once. They're going to give it another go as their 6th round. Final defence, Cyclops, last time around, pushed in from construction side mostly, got themselves established, and then just beat everybody back until they were able to push onto Demic, who was last man standing on those rafters. So it's going to be East Breach open nice and quick, and then I'd like to see that split push again.
Absolutely. Well, it looks like for the most part, Cyclops are leaning in towards the Monty. And we've spoken about the Monty a lot, not just in the context of Cyclops. In Cyclops' context, Anaton is a big-time shield lover. He loves things like the Ossa. He's always played the Monty. Me and you will never ever forget the drop shot Monty kills he was getting against Team 1 back at the Mexico Major. But looking at teams overall, my nervousness around seeing a Monty too much is it's almost like a crutch they're relying on. When they can't align the team together, when they need a way to just strong-arm their way through problems rather than actually solving them, Monty can be one of those go-to operators. Do I think that Cyclops' plan for this round is, okay, we can't get through, therefore let's bring along the Monty? Absolutely not. But it just gives me that kind of thought in the back of my mind when I do see one picked up.
Suzushi just getting lower garage opened up, pretty standard there. It allows operators to get in underneath the catwalk and rain nades and utility up onto the rafters to make it difficult for anybody to play up there. Heady does need to be dealt with. This is the second angle that we usually get opened up from lower garage. What it does is give a view up to the window through to CCTV, but also onto the shorter section of the catwalk as well. Just taking the opportunity, Anaton, to get some utility taken out as well. There you go, you just see the angle as we sweep past there behind the shield.
They're trying to get that pressure inside a garage so they can get Monty up onto catwalk. We've seen many a battle up on catwalk as well when you're coming up against Goyo canisters. I've seen several Montys die trying to do that. You've got smokes to face off against. So whilst the catwalk can be challenged well by the Monty, I'm also very nervous that it's a very thin corridor to step through, essentially. You can't drop your shield at any point because you're exposed from lounge, you're exposed from catwalk itself, you're exposed from site itself. It's just a very high risk, high reward area for a Monty to play in.
Soldier, quite brave there, taking the direct peek onto the rappel, just waiting for the giveaway sign of that claw to come across the top. He will know that he's likely to be challenged. We're going to have a nade going out. It's not going to be successful in and around that area, but Blackray decides to pocket it once again, waiting for a little bit more information. Now then, here comes Anaton pushing up, and there's the danger. Oh, he gets the double team coming in. Out goes the Nitro. That was absolutely brilliant from TALON, but kills come in elsewhere. Maybe too much attention paid to the Monty. They're going to lose Heady, they're going to lose Soldier, and things could get difficult now. 4v3.
Call Anaton the sacrificial lamb, right? Because sure, he's gone down there in a very well-defended piece by TALON. Like I said, it's a very thin corridor. You get to the top, the Goya gets popped out, smoke at the bottom. You are dead no matter which way you look at it, because neither of those time out quickly enough for you to be able to tank through both of them. Beautifully done. And again, just goes to show how I don't feel these days, if a Goya and a smoker are on side, that Monty can really go pushing in through bottlenecks in a map. It just makes it far too risky. So now at least TALON are still down a man, as here comes the push coming through. One coming up behind him as well. Two in towards sight. Cyclops pull that go trigger, and my God, do they go, go, go. They found themselves two, found themselves three, all to the name of Gadarada. And Cyclops close out the half 4-2.
Not a bad half at all. Cyclops certainly they've struggled with consistency. We don't know which one we're going to get. Today, it looks like they are, I won't say back to their best, but they are certainly playing well and aggressive going in there. As you say, Des, the go button is pushed, and within 2 seconds, they're in there. They've got 3 kills. They know everything that's awaiting them, and they have been absolutely clinical in that first part. So well played from Cyclops. They take themselves a well-deserved 4-2 lead into this second half. The question is, a few of those rounds for me were won on the back of that aggression. They were one on going in there, taking those gunfights. The last 2 in particular, Alligator taking 2 gunfights onto logistics, rotation into construction, and then the final 10 seconds that we just saw in round 6. So they can't necessarily play with that same sort of aggression, that same sort of timing on defense. That's now going to be down to Talon as the attackers. So will Cyclops adapt? Will they bring the elements that they'll need for defense?
Well, Talon will tell them that front as well, and we'll see what smart ideas Talon have got. We could very well see in the second half that Talon just steamroll their way through the attacks themselves, and we end up in another overtime game. What I do want to do, actually, Tim, and I'll let you talk for a second as well, I want to go back and dig up exactly what the half split was in the last game these guys met, because it could be a sign of the meta development, it could be a sign of Cyclops' improvement, how Talon are still finding their feet. I'm not too sure. So you can talk for a minute, Tim.
Alligator's going to have a little peek out of the garage door here, and you know what? He might just have a little bit of joy. The peek comes in, the challenge is there. Talon are ready. They are waiting for that aggression coming out of Cyclops, and I like that from Talon. They've recognised the way this first has been played. Alligator, no! Absolutely disgusting headshot onto Hedy. I think there's a little challenge, just came in through the garage wall. It opened up a hole, and he said, you know what? I'm going to put a few shots through there and see what I get. Black Ray's going for it. I was wondering whether the aggression would be continued, but it absolutely has.
I did go and do my digging, by the way, Tim. It was 4-2 to the defenders at the half of both teams that saw us go through to overtime. So, if you're looking at how things are going, Cyclops absolutely in the driving seat this time around. Hedy was their hero last time. Gatorada finding out Demic. And as Ahsoka Hedy, with him already being down as well at 2 and 7, things absolutely not going anywhere near as well as it did last time for this team. Do want to touch again as well on a couple of changes. Marble here is also on the support. They put Misa more into the aggressive role here on the Zofia. So again, seeing those role changes coming into play could just be a sign that Talon aren't yet fully comfortable with the changes they've made.
There's big problems here for Talon. They're 3 versus 5, and they've still got hatches to open. Now, the reason that that's a big problem particularly is they've lost their ranged hard breach. I know that Ace can only open 1 hatch, but somewhere like Kitchen, it is a good idea to use that range, because look on the side of the defenders. Anaton, Nitro, Gatorada, Nitro. If they can play underneath Kitchen, if they're allowed to move around under there and they suspect that that hatch is going to get opened, Marble or Soldier, whoever goes in for it, is going to have to be stood near that hatch at some point in time. So there's definitely a potential opportunity there for a little bit of vertical death to be dealt out.
Keep a very close eye on that, yeah, because it seems to be that at least around Kitchen is the start of their focus.
Here we go.
They're waiting because they've had the call that someone's trying to push through. They've got one out in the hall, they've got one near the hatch. It's pre-placed. As soon as they step in through meat, you pull that trigger. Here comes Soldier. Surely a 3-2-1 call. Not quite yet. No, okay, fair enough. A little bit too soon there. I think he thought he'd already crossed in when obviously he clearly had not.
The effort was there, and as I say, that was the risk for Talon. That was something they had to manage. There is still a Nitro in the hands of Gatorada. He may well choose to keep hold of it, because he's going to be getting fed information about the bottom of main stairs here, and I think that's exactly what he's primed ready for, Des. He wants to throw it over into that kill box that we've discussed a few times, and Alligator is going to be the one to give the call. As he looks down that corridor, as soon as he sees feet at the bottom of main stairs, Gatorada just launches that Nitro, and you should be looking at a kill.
Misa had an impact in back pocket, and he burnt it somewhere. It did not go into the shield that the Wamai is sat behind. So that place, that holding position inside of Long is just now so secure. Misa's forced to charge in forwards, but they're just ready for it. Cyclops more than prepared and get a flawless round at their first swing of the bat.
Well, that answers the question of how Cyclops are going to be playing the defence. Plenty of aggression in the early round there, particularly from Alligator and Black Ray, going fantastically well at challenging the borders of the map there, not allowing Talon to get themselves comfortably inside, and then just beautiful utility use and management. We have the Nitro potentially getting a kill in Kitchen. Doesn't work out, but the plan was there. And then the Toxic Babe canister into Dirt Tunnel entrance just to force that player out into a bad position. Beautifully played from Cyclops, and somehow, Des, they almost, as defenders, still controlled the pace and direction of that round.
That's it, right? And that is where the power comes in. I always think back to teams like Rogue when we talk about this sort of thing as well. The pressure that they exert on other teams, whether they're on attack or defense, is almost tangible. And I think you saw that in the last round from Cyclops, being so willing to go and greet the attackers, take out a couple of crucial operators, disrupt the most ideal composition the attackers have brought thanks to attacker repick, get up in their face and shut it down. That is the way that you want to be playing Siege these days. You cannot afford to turtle and get battered about by the most optimal comp to execute with.
Absolutely not. We go up to the top floor then. Cyclops only 2 rounds away from getting this one done in rapid fashion, as Talon are just struggling to hold on to the coattails at the minute. They're just absolutely running away with this. It's going to be Gym and Bedroom for round number 8. Plenty of utility over on the east side, but only Ayagator playing out there at the minute, and he's not even playing in behind that utility for the time being. He's wanting to get aggressive down in Garage once again. Has a spray through. Is not going to find anybody this time.
Absolutely. At least he's making the same sort of attempt, right? Looking to get a little bit cheeky into the earlier round. Marble opening up the double wall here, which does somewhat cut off Ayagator. He's got a choice here. Try and work your way back past the breach, in which case it's high risk, or drop your way down to the lower floor and work your way through. And like clockwork, you've got Gatorada coming up towards blue to cover him from that angle as well. And then he dips back up red stairs. So basically just dipped underneath that breach and rejoined his team out here on the extended hold for now.
Working fantastically well together, it has to be said. Cyclops now then Marble, he's got the one breach open, he's going to move and get the second. That's perfect work from the Thermite, but he's going to be faced up with the Shield of Anaton. This time it's electrified. Shocker. And it's the Clash. I like what you did there, Des.
Anaton and the Shield operators, I said it earlier on, he loves playing them regardless. Truthfully, it wasn't actually an intended pun. Didn't even think before I said it.
Sometimes the accidental ones are the best.
They are.
He's just going to look to challenge on, but there's nothing that you can do when you're being fronted up by a Clash. They're going to have to bring in some of the utility to try and move him along, but they're a little bit limited. Don't have the Zephyr. I can use the nades, of course, of Sledge and Finker, but that's going to be pretty much their main option now.
It's smart, though, because on the other side, Cyclops have brought along like the Wamai and the Jaeger, but on the attacker side, you've got 6 frags. You have 4 frags, 6 flashes. A lot of utility you can use here to at least move this Clash, and sure enough you can see it all being used in. They're trying to go from below as well, unable to find anything, but Misa strikes first, Black Ray on the alibi taken out.
A good start for Talon. They need to build on that. They need to work from there. They've got Soldier still underneath with the vertical nades, just looking, I think, waiting for information. If they can get the Clash with one, then it's absolutely perfect for them. Ayagator.
You must be joking. You could have literally one-tapped his head. I think he was on a drone.
Ayagator's laughing. I think he knows.
He knows.
He knows.
He knows he's whiffed an absolute freebie there.
Too easy, though, for Gatorada as the Flores tries to jump in through the window. They just haven't dealt with Gatorada here. They've put drones in there. They've tried to move him around. They still can't deal with Anaton. Soldier gets a kill. Gatorada keeps fighting. Anaton's just locked in the corner at the minute. They're doing everything they can to get around here. It was surely a matter of time until Talon won that one when they flooded in at the end, but it looked like it could be one of those rounds that slipped away from them as well, but ultimately they get it done, and that's going to be their 3rd here on Clubhouse.
I feel there was a bit of miscommunication from Cyclops at the end there as well, because you had Gatorada still trying to spray outside the breach, assuming they were still there. I don't know what the call must have been coming in from Anaton on the Clash, but surely you're screaming, they're in, just shoot at me. You've got a shield in front of your face. There's no worry about a team kill there. There's 2 of them stacked up inside the hallway. That's potentially a double kill with your name on it, waiting and ready. So a small miscom from Cyclops there really lets Talon capitalise in the chaos, get a couple of kills, bring down the Clash, and see that round through to the close.
We're going to bar and stage now for round 9. Not too often that we see this one. Usually maybe once per map when we have Clubhouse. Cyclops going to be trying to hold on, very similar to last time around, to that master bathroom area. Just trying to get construction locked down, keep themselves on the hatch. The vertical play is what they're going to be looking for. I feel like Ayagator needs to have a little bit more of an impact on this round. He was there or thereabouts last time, but just sort of playing out in the garage, playing underneath, just didn't really have enough impact for me.
Interesting one here is that Rook coming along from Gatorada as well. The impacts which you want, still have those in back pocket as a gadget. Primary weapon isn't too bad. The big lean, really, in this. I'm seeing actually the stats. Rook has I want to say it's the highest defender win rate in the game. Purely because, at least in rank this is, I think in Platinum Plus, purely because of the extra HP that it stacks up on the defenders, right? You think about how attackers are often coming running at you with the Finker, juicing you up, giving you extra HP. Those extra points that you get from the Rook can be everything in the difference in a gunfight, right? It can be literally between life and death. So whilst at a pro level, I think you'll see more headshots than not. or at least a significant number of headshots compared to what you maybe see in ranked, the extra kind of sponginess that gives you as the Rook, I don't think is a bad thing.
Alligator lucky to escape there, and BlackRay has the cover for him, managing to find a kill onto Soldier, giving Cyclops a good advantage here. There's not yet been any attention towards that construction area. Talon have got work to do before they can go anywhere near. They have to clear out these roamers, particularly Alligator, who has been very slippery so far with a lot of mobility and a lot of movement. And I tell you what, it wouldn't surprise me to see him go out of this window and try to go back in through CCTV.
It would be a CAD classic. I've told the story so many times, but the clip that Mag put on Twitter once of him scrimming against Cyclops and 4 of them burst out of the windows on top floor clubhouse. It was a thing of nightmares. And whilst I don't think we're going to see a similar thing coming out of Cyclops, they definitely aren't impartial to jumping out of a window and trying to make a risky but aggressive play that can yield really high returns.
Damek just going to be relocating himself there. Maybe speaks for a little bit of adaptation to this attack. We're going to have Alligator waiting to take out a second Selma charge, but is unsuccessful. But he's going to play aggressive on this breach. He's just going to wait for the ace to poke his head around. If he does, he might just lose it. Alligator is going absolutely nowhere. Looks like he's committed to playing his life here and trying to keep hold of construction. We do know how important it is, because underneath you can see Marble opening up that wall to give access to the plant spot on stage. Alligator really needs to hold on.
I mean, if he hasn't been droned and they don't know he's here, I think there's a drone underneath the cabinet.
It's underneath.
But can they see him from there? No, there's one there from Heady looking underneath the cabinet, the workbench. I don't know if that can see him because of the planks. Yeah, they have an idea that someone could play for Hatch, which is why this is here. But by the time they call it when he makes the move, it could be too little, too late.
They've got Heady trying to hold the angle. I think that's the plan there. But it is his drone, like you say. They're going to have somebody else watching that.
It's got to be quick.
Just firing the utility in, and there's 35 seconds left to go. There we go. That's the information that they needed. Heady can now go in and make a challenge, but they're aware Alligator can move here, and they can just dip back and live to fight another day. Alligator instead is going to get aggressive, try to take the challenge on, and he wins it. That's an important one. It leaves him on top of the hatch. 5 versus 3 now. Going to be very difficult for them to get in. They're going to have to go deeper with this. They can't plant on stage.
Heady was the difference maker there. He had to stay alive and have that cover, but he's gone aggressive and paid the price against Alligator, who swung him. And I was going to say, the last 3 players are all coming in from lounge side. They're all downstairs. It's all too easy, and you can see on the replay there, he sees their legs long before they even see him on the hatch. Everything spun around construction, and Talon did not put enough resource into it.
Fantastically well played from Cyclops there. Alligator, I said he needed to have more of an impact as I was critical of him from the round before. You know, his mobility was great, but he didn't have too much of an impact. He missed those shots up onto the roof. Not being too critical there, but it was just a tough round for him, and they just needed that little bit more, and boy did he give it them there. Sticking around and going for that fight with Heady, it just shows you how important construction is, that he's willing to risk his life to that degree, but coming out on top with the gunfight as well. Absolutely perfect. So much so that it triggers that Talon tactical timeout.
Understandably, but it's another one of those, Tim, where they're calling it when the chips are already on the table, right? They've already gone all in at this point. It's 6-3. You know, you've got to correct something now and have it last for 3 rounds and hope to God that Cyclops don't have something else up their sleeve to roll out in the subsequent rounds. Really going to be calling this kind of timeout a little bit sooner. You know, they were at 2-2 at one point. They went down to 3-2, 4-2, 5-2. You'd imagine maybe at least 4-2, 5-2, you calling the timeout to try and fix and amend things. And sure, you got yourself round 8 on the board, but that even then was down to this really crazy hectic part around Jacuzzi, where clearly there was some miscoms from Cyclops. So fair play, you got around, but now you're really up against it, and you've got to win 3 back-to-back to even see overtime.
Yep, a lot more work to be done. It's going to be Church and Arsenal then for Cyclops. We saw this side back in round 7. It was their first defence. It was their first defensive win. And if you remember, I commented particularly how well Cyclops actually manipulated the attack. They forced them into difficult positions, difficult areas. They made their life a nightmare and took full advantage of it, using their utility particularly well to do so. A couple of things for you to watch out for at home there. How will Cyclops do that again? Will they try to play it in the same way? Alligator got aggressive. He was lucky. He got himself a nice early kill. There was a second from BlackRay that came along with it. But Talon, that is exactly what they need to avoid to begin with. Don't lose anybody early, and then later in the round, make sure that Cyclops aren't dictating things because of their utility.
Well, here we go then. Talon's last swing of the bat here, potentially. Got to get it right here and now. Otherwise, Cyclops walk away with all 3 of the points. And sadly for Talon, a team that just a couple of weeks ago were in the top 2 and consistently fighting for a spot at the major, things might start to look very, very different as they slowly slip their way down the rankings. Cyclops still keep themselves in with a chance, so they would be 3 points behind Sandbox in second place, which means as we get towards the tail end of the stage, where it's Sandbox versus Damwon Kia and Damwon Kia versus Cyclops next week, things start to look very, very spicy.
Black Ray trying to get aggressive there onto Blue Window, but doesn't have any joy. Instead takes half damage and has to dip away back to site. Ayagator will be picked up on the drone, time to relocate. He just needs to hope that he's got time to do so. He's got Anaton in support, so they should be able to move away, but the question is, can Talon get themselves into a position quickly enough to prevent him moving back down? Gatorada gets an absolute freebie to kick things off. I think he nearly goes for Ayagator then, not realising necessarily it was his teammate, but they avoid any disaster, and they are now 5 versus 4.
Demic just getting a bit too pacey, because you'd be asking the question, why is your Jackal already on main stairs when the rest of your team has barely got in through Cash or CC yet and is still looking to work their way around? You still got Anaton working down from top floor as well, so they had 3 people on top floor, but the Jackal was looking down into basement, sat on a drone. Wrong place, wrong time, wrong everything, Tim.
Anaton is absolutely adamant at going after the man on main stairs there. He's not going to get any joy, and Misa manages to avoid any damage going to be taken there, but Gatorada's in kitchen. He's not giving it up, is he? Nitro goes out, bad throw. He's going to have to continue challenging with his weapon unless he gets an opportunity.
What?
He's being challenged from everywhere. He's got no opportunity to
swing around.
He's got nothing to do here, Des. He's absolutely wedged. But look at the time he's still wasting.
They're still down to basically nothing, and here we go on the push outside. Sees the man.
No.
He doesn't know where to go. Left, right. Finally gets put down inside of meat, hung up on the hooks for the boys to enjoy later. Cannibalism ain't cool, okay? Now going for the hatch as well, Marbles in, but they can deny this one away because they still had 4 impacts on the downstairs. They've gone through most of their hard breach. They've still got 2 Selmas. I think, again, it was a case of miscommunication there where 2 impacts came out at once, but at least the exothermic is taken off, and there's now no time left for Talon to make anything happen. They've got 25 seconds, Tim, and they've got to rotate over towards blue.
Talon are going to need something big here, and it's going to have to come in the form of winning gunfights. It's as simple as that. They just have to get in there and try and hope that they come out on top. 14 seconds left to go. This is as classic as it gets for Church and Arsenal. Cyclops have done a great job of wasting time, and here we go. Misa, he goes in, gets one. Soldier gets one as well. Somehow they were doing it, but it's now 2v2. Heady's got an opportunity to put the diffuser down, but he's got to stick this. He's unlikely to win. He's in a pinch. There we go. He secures the diffuser plant, but it will be the very last thing that he does. Black Ray getting a double at the end to close things out for Cyclops, and boy, did they look like a different team today, taking down Talon.
Didn't they just? I thought Cyclops today have looked really, really sharp. You know, some days a little bit scrappy, uncoordinated, but today a very different team. That reminded me a lot of what we used to see back at Majors, when they'd really surprise a lot of international teams with their aggression, their jump outs, their willingness to meet you in the map early on and say, right, you've got to fight for every single square inch of this map. And I felt they've done that against Talon today, who sadly, with a couple of role changes coming in, just didn't look like we've seen them in previous days.
32 kills between the top 3 players for Cyclops, and that was on a reasonably limited scoreline. That's not even an overtime game. That is absolute madness. Black Ray, Gatorada, and Ayagator have just had unreal games. Unreal.
They looked like their playthings today, didn't they?
Honestly. They were playing with the food practically. It
wasn't a big contest. Outside of a bit of miscommunication, the odd error here and there, Cyclops today looked fantastic in my opinion, and that's a great end to our day as well. We'll throw to a quick break. When we come back, it's going to be our desk breaking things down and our post-show.